since I got back from one of the relatively rare invitations for us to go over to Sean's place, a friend of Dad's, we got back around 7:30 p.m. because after leaving Sean's place around 7 p.m., we had to drop Bill off back at his apartment place before heading home back to Dad's apartment place. Some of my teeth are currently feeling a bit sore, but I'm still able to eat just fine. After all, while we were at Sean's place, at around 4 to 5 p.m., I ended up having 2 reds, which is the term given for a hot dog sausage that is mostly beef and has just a bit of pork in it, with ketchup, what was called boss sauce by Sean, but seems to actually just be honey barbecue. Though I did say I wanted barbecue. I got weighed at that platelet donation appointment. Apparently I'm some 297 or so pounds. Which, after hearing that, I had a retry be done because that seemed a pretty high for someone who initially thought they were around 200 pounds. I don't feel very obese, and don't consider myself to be very obese. Either way, though, I'm currently pretty healthy. At least I consider myself to be pretty healthy. And there's always a time for gradually losing excess weight. My blood pressure at the platelet appointment, the pre-donation checkup, it was high, but it was within acceptable amounts. Something that can best be managed by losing weight, but for the time being could probably be managed by consuming less sodium and consuming more water, of which I'm thinking this vitamin-infused water might be acceptable, because there's a negligible amount of sodium in it. And no calories, so you could probably drink these vitamin-infused water beverages to replace fruit, and then just eat some vegetables, possibly. Yeah, plus, I once heard of a YouTube video that discusses types of food that have almost no calories. Some kind of YouTube video. But while I was at Sean's place, I kind of more focused on videos about Fallout 76, I had a pretty busy day with the platelet donation, which lasted from roughly 10 in the morning to about 1 p.m. Possibly till 1:15 to 1:30 p.m. if you include the recovery time. I tried to film a sort of vlog about this first platelet donation. It ended up being pretty short. We're not very far from that donation center for the American Red Cross. I'm just glad to say I was at last able to do a successful donation of platelets. This is what my arm currently looks like. I took the band-aids off while, at Sean's place, threw them in the trash bin located within the cupboard under the sink, within the kitchen area. I first had the base of operations at Sean's place at the dining room area, which is usually interconnected with the kitchen area and is defined by where the table is, or the table nearest to the kitchen area, more often than not. I'm feeling a bit sick right now. I did some sneezing and had some snot come out not too long ago, but that snot is currently under control at the moment. In the roughly hour before the platelet donation appointment, me and Dad got dressed up and ready to go. We made a stop at McDonald's, during which Dad ended up getting me a biscuit sandwich with, I believe, egg and sausage at least, and some cheese, as well as a plastic glass of orange juice. Here's what Dad got me. And I recall before that finishing off some vitamin water that I got. I'm not sure if it was of this brand, but that one had the liquid be colored blue. I didn't do any work on this styrofoam drawing. Considering the busy day with the platelet donation appointment combined with a pretty lengthy visit to Sean's place with Dad and his other friend Bill. Sean cooked the hot dogs, both reds and whites. He also cooked Sicilian sausage, but I wasn't really interested in that. I think right as he started cooking the hot dogs, he gave me a bag of barbecue chips because I specified that I wanted barbecue over, I believe, plain was the other choice. And of which I ate a significant portion, maybe a third of the whole bag, if I recall correctly. Bill brought the mac salad and the potato salad, of which I had some of both, and I told him that I preferred the mac salad over the potato salad. I consider the mac salad to be tastier, and I'm not entirely sure if he was joking or not, but he said next time he won't bring a potato salad. Yeah, but the potato salad was still good. It's just that I like the mac salad more. Anyway, when I first arrived at the American Red Cross for the platelet donation, there was this sort of cartoon playing. And what channel, I had no idea, but the cartoon was about Spider-Man and some young teenage African-American kid apparently gaining the same powers that Spider-Man has. There being some kind of device that can rip the space-time continuum. Some kind of fight scene involving at least two people against Spider-Man. Some man in a costume similar to the Black Panther's costume, and then some sort of lizard monster. During the whole donation process, for pretty much all of it, I listened to Everywhere at the End of Time through a playlist that had all 50 of that mega album's tracks. The whole time taking the squeeze thingy they gave me, put it in this arm, I would listen for a certain sound coming from the machine I was connected to through the needle. When that sound went off, I know that I would have to start squeezing more than a light squeeze because it came out of a side vein, but still not too hard, since I wouldn't want to fatigue my hand too much. And then when the sound came again, I know I would have to relax. I continued that sort of cycle for more than an hour and a half. I know that on average, the first 3 tracks of Everywhere at the End of Time are some 45 or so minutes. And I got pretty deep into stage 3. If I recall, I got as far as F3, which I believe is Internal Bewildered World, according to my memory, before they took me off they removed the needle, and then got into as far as F4 before they put the bandages on the donation site, F4 being Burning Heart Does Ache. Though there are at least about a handful of tracks after that, before we get into stage 4. It is quite nice listening to the music of Everywhere at the End of Time, which, like I said, is sampled from (1920s, 1940s) big band music. At the recovery area, I had a pack of this Adams and Eve's, or Apple and Eve's, berry fruit juice cartons. Had a thing of Twinkies and a thing of Zingers by the Hostess Food Company. And then for the road, I grabbed 2 bags, 2 little pouches of Cheez-Its, and a second of the Very Berry fruit cartons. And I had that stuff in the hour from 1 p.m. to about 2 p.m., that break period before me and Dad went to pick up Bill, and then we went to Sean's place. During that period, after consuming the Cheez-Its and that Very Berry fruit carton, it was a bit of a struggle to stay awake, but I managed it. I don't at this moment have Stronghold Kingdoms opened up because it's currently 10:39 p.m. and when I first got back from Dad's place, there was some kind of malfunction, some kind of disconnect with the internet for this apartment unit. Since from switching to Sean's internet, Wi-Fi, and then being on it for 4 hours, and it resulted in my connection to Stronghold Kingdoms being severed, because even though I think it's a pretty old massive multiplayer online game, it's still a massive multiplayer online game. So you, in a way, pretty much have to always be connected to it. Yeah, that's an inherent feature of those kind of games. In particular, I'm currently researching construction in order to decrease the build time of all castle buildings. For some reason, I've had my points fluctuate by thousands. I had a new village which I renamed to Yume today, which came from a chapter from an interactive story that I found off of writing.com. If I recall correctly, it was from The Amazing Colossal Interactive, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And I think the previous research was supposed to enable me to build fishing jetties for the Pescado village, of which I'm going to try my hand at building one of those now. It's going to take about 2 hours for me to do that. In my main village, my oldest village, Tyler Wow, with a capitals on, capitals off repeating pattern, I've got a popularity of 25, which, while at least positive, isn't that great, but hey, it enables me to maintain the current rate of taxation, and that's at the cruel tax rate. With a negative 12 weather event, aka the showers weather event, and another minus 22 popularity because my castle isn't enclosed, because I've currently got a process of building out a standardized castle design that I'll hopefully be able to repeat for all future villages. And my current structures are things that what I'm currently constructing are things that are going to take some 15 or so hours or in order to complete, which should be enough to tide me over until I wake up in the morning and just continue the plan I've been following for days. The thing is, the plan I'm following requires having access to 10 turrets to build, and don't think I'm part of any parishes that has that capability yet. At Sean's place for dessert around 6 p.m. I had 2 pieces of a sort of chocolate cream pie with whipped cream and little swirls of chocolate on top. Although by that point I had moved to the living room couches because in a sort of square, the couches are arranged that sort of way because by then I had felt like laying down for some time. I had gotten sort of sick of sitting up all the time. I'm going to have to do some trading in order to get more silk and gems at some point. This mild sickness I have at the time being at 10:48 p.m. has me feeling a little warmer than usual, especially whenever I wrap myself around a blanket. Here it's usually around an old SpongeBob blanket that I've had for years, and I'm still very grateful to be in possession of. Given how I believe, if I recall correctly, there was some period of my life in which SpongeBob was a significant part of my childhood for at least a few years, with my mom getting me all sorts of SpongeBob things.